Yes, this is Empire Crypto TV here with Stone on real time. It's the 7th of March, and we are looking at the market, and the market is at war. The world is at war. Even though the one part of the world is having the war, sometimes I feel like everyone, investors, traders, all over the world, they are experiencing this terrible time. So this is Empire Crypto TV. Just like to share with you some of the information that I'm getting from the media and circulating it through our channel and analyzing the market as well, seeing how things can be and how they would be for people who are living outside that world of war and looking from outside, looking through that glass of terribleness. Right now, I am going to let you look through my own glass that I have. A video that you can look through your own glass and see what's happening on the other side of the world. Please be advised this video may contain disturbing images as we see the updates of what's happening in Ukraine at this point.
Putin needs it, but he's having real trouble getting it. Drive to the last Ukrainian position outside the port city of Mykolaiv, and you can see the mess made of the Kremlin's plans. Even the Z Russian propaganda says it's from the denazification they ridiculously claim to be enacting is charred. Its occupants, captured or dead. Their missiles on display, along with their names.
So it's the army of Russia.
Further down this road are the rest of the Russian tanks, but one was left behind. And now farmers, pensioners, and bemused locals are picking it over. The model may be newer, but the empire it seeks to restore is long gone.
А что там было? Все работает?
Ну вот это не поворачивает, прямо идет, не зажимает.
He's just saying it goes forwards, but it doesn't turn around.
The same can't be said for its crew who fled. The Ukrainians here a little gleeful this keeps happening.
They left the tank, or?
They needed to do that.
Right. Okay. They didn't have much of a choice.
They didn't have another choice.
Then a warning.
There's a helicopter coming.
A helicopter is spotted and we have to leave. Bringing up the Stinger. Rushing in the weapons this David has hit the Russian Goliath with again and again. But the Kremlin is sure to impose a cost on anyone it can. Grad rockets have slammed into homes regularly. This woman thinks she has broken her back. The house collapsed on me, she says, and then they pulled me out. There are no other patients in this hospital. All the injured treated here died in their beds, we're told, including one 53-year-old man brought in on Sunday morning.
Just here.
Across town, the rockets, apparent cluster munitions that seem to fall just anywhere.
So another rocket landed up the street here.
From cars to vegetable gardens.
Вот видишь.
At the morgue, the toll is growing. At least 50 bodies, they told us. 20 of them incinerated in a Russian missile strike on the naval port of Charkiv, they said. The bodies so often of the elderly who would have survived being a Soviet citizen, but not this. Ruslan has worked here 13 days straight and is from Crimea, where Russian state propaganda still calls this a special operation against Nazis.
Сейчас понимаете, что они, я сам крымчанин из Крыма, и мои друзья, которые живут в Крыму, они думают, что что здесь все, это все просто так. Нет, ребята, демократы мои, хочу я вам сказать, что вы, мои бывшие друзья, вы сейчас меня предаете, и вы поддерживаете Путина, который является фашистом самым настоящим. Фашистом. Моя семья сейчас прячется в подвалах из-за вас, уродов вонючих. Я вам серьезно говорю, это просто страшно на это все смотреть. Мои друзья, которые в Киеве, которые в Харькове, которые в Сумах, они сидят в подвалах и прячутся из-за того, что их обстреливают эти ракеты российские. Когда это закончится?
Until it stops, of course, man. That was just also very hard to be watching that as well. That's the reality of the things right now. But the market is still moving, even though the things that we see right there are fairly disturbing. These are the latest news that are coming out of Ukraine. Of course, I just want to share the market with you right now. Just want to put up the chart so that we can analyze the market and its latest and see some of the news that are appearing other than all of this wars that we are seeing on civilians, which is pretty much unfair and unreasonable. And we can never understand the true nature of this conflict and what is Vladimir Putin is aiming to have. Now, looking at this hour, Bitcoin is thriving at $38,000 per crypto per coin. If I should say that. If I should say it like that, but a news came out regarding cryptocurrencies in Russia. Okay, back in February, the 26th of February, there was a story that the Russia, if sanctions were imposed, their backup they would use cryptocurrencies, and there is a story that also covers that. On that story, Russia could use cryptocurrency to blunt the force of U.S. sanctions. This was back in February 26. Russian companies have many cryptocurrency tools at their disposal to evade sanctions, including a so-called digital ruble ransomware. So, and the digital ruble, now remember the DC, the central bank digital currencies are also a new development that also in the United States have been much be spoken about. So Russia has also had that particular plan to evade sanctions so that they can be able to use cryptocurrencies in their country when these times came. So it's sort of like they premeditated it, they pre-planned it, they planned it all along. When the United States barred Americans from doing business with Russian banks, oil and gas developers, and other companies in 2014 after the country's invasion of Crimea. This is not the first invasion that we are seeing in Europe in recent time. Also in 2014, Vladimir Putin did attack Crimea, which is the southern part of Ukraine. It's just a small part of Ukraine that he has conquered, and they barred them when cryptocurrencies were not at their highest level as we see them now. After the country's invasion in Crimea, the hit to Russia's economy was swift and immense. Economists estimated that sanctions imposed by Western nations cost Russia $50 billion a year, which made it very difficult for them as a country that is still sort of like having economic problems and issues. That is just a lot of money for them to be paying as a penalty. So since then, the global market for cryptocurrencies and other digital assets had ballooned. That's because, seeing the move of cryptocurrencies and, the development of cryptocurrencies indeed has ballooned. That's bad news for enforcers of sanctions and good news for Russia. So the enforcers obviously being the NATO countries, the United States, the British, and every country that is sanctioning Russia, including the cryptocurrency space as well. On Tuesday, the Biden administration enacted fresh sanctions on Russia over the conflict in Ukraine, aiming to thwart its access to foreign capital. But Russian entities are preparing to blunt some of the worst effects by making deals with anyone around the world willing to work with them. Wow. Experts said, and they say those entities can then use digital currencies to bypass the control points that governments rely on, mainly transfers of money and banks to block deal execution. In a time like that, like the video that I just showed you, it is possible that that can happen. Russia has had a lot of time to think about these specific consequences because Russia is one of the top tech companies that they are invested in, top tech investments also as well. That country is pretty much very advanced when it comes to tech, said Michael Parker, a former federal prosecutor who now heads the anti-money laundering and sanctions practice at the Washington law firm Ferrari and Associates. It would be naive to think that they haven't game out exactly this scenario. Okay, goes on to say sanctions are some of the most powerful tools the United States and European countries have to influence the behavior of nations they don't consider allies, okay, like Russia, like Iraq, also Libya in the time of Muammar Gaddafi. Sanctions were set before those countries, before they could attack them. But now they are doing this, the same thing to Russia. They're sanctioning them. If Ukraine would join NATO, then it's possible that the United States or the NATO members could also join into that war, which could be a terrible thing. But American government officials are increasingly aware of the potential for cryptocurrencies to lessen the impact of sanctions and are stepping up their scrutiny of digital assets. Okay, to apply sanctions, a government makes a list of people and business and citizens must avoid. Anyone caught engaging with a member of the list faces heavy fines, but the real key to any effective sanction program is the global financial system. Banks around the world play a major role in enforcement. They see where money comes from and where it's bound, and anti-money laundering laws require them to block transactions with entities that are under sanctions and report that they see to authorities. But if banks are the eyes and ears of governments in this space, the explosion of digital currencies is blinding them, of course. If now you take out the middleman and consider that, you need not the government, you don't need no middleman. And if that currency is able to do that, like through the blockchain technology that we're seeing that is booming, of course, it is a concern for the governments to look into. The banks obviously are the eye. Banks have to abide by know your customer rules, which include verify their clients and identities, and it goes on and on. And of course, this is just one article that talks about the planning that the Kremlin has been having to have investment within the cryptocurrency space. Okay, Binance founder here, CZ, also had a view on this, but he has a different view other than that. Binance founder says cryptocurrencies won't help Russia evade sanctions, which means even though Russia is having this plan of having sanctions, having cryptocurrencies to evade sanctions, the Binance is thinking otherwise. Trading platforms boss says crypto is too small for Russia and more focus should be placed on the banking system. Yes, cryptocurrencies may be too small, but they can be very useful at the same time. They may be too small, and this situation has the potential of growing it as well. Because now, going down further, there's a reason why, if the cryptocurrencies were too small, why would they have this kind of behavior? Let me see this article. All right, I just want to get more of this, to read more on this article. Where's the rest of it? Oh God. All right. Okay. The cryptocurrency space. Okay. I had a story that went on and then just spoke about how they are going to sanctions Russians if it was not necessary for Russians to be sanctions on cryptocurrencies, then 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 they wouldn't have to worry about anything, man, because if cryptocurrencies are too small, then the government shouldn't worry. But there are concerns that the cryptocurrencies can evade. So cryptocurrencies are also putting sanctions on Russia, including Binance, but on particular people, not on everyone, not on everyone that is using Binance, but specific people that they are trying to target because of the war in Russia. Of course, going to other markets as well, other markets that are doing quite well, we are looking at the oil. Oil is quite booming right now. Article came out to confirm that on the Wall Street Journal. Goes on to say oil rockets on Russian ban hint wheat surge, euro falls, and that's moving what's moving markets. Goes on to say oil and natural gas prices surge to win highs as US floats a full ban on purchases on Russian energy. Right. I look at the market, look at the oil prices themselves. They have leaped to the next level here. I think it was during the weekend, so or last week Friday, if it was trading on a trading day. Okay, look at that jump right there. It opened on a high right there. That jump right there. I'm looking at the hourly chart on the US oil platform right now, and the oil right now it's 121. It jumped from 115 to 127 in a very short time. That's volatility right there, which is a friend of Wall Street. And looking at the euro, as I just read, that the euro is not doing so well against the US dollar. Okay, not that maybe the US dollar is strong or anything, but it is just because it is affected by what's happening in Russia. And this is a 1 hour chart, and this is the chart that right now, just recently now, it's starting to gain some strength, and it has some oversold conditions that have been going on for a while when I look at my relative strength index. And another market that is booming is the gold market, commodities. It went almost to 2,000. In fact, it went to as high as 2,000. 2002, wow, 2002.72 per an ounce. So gold went as far as, so in this crisis, we are seeing the gold chart once again doing extremely well, better than the US dollar, I bet, because when I look at the Asian markets, the US dollar versus the Japanese yen is pretty doing very well, if I should say, from 115, but it had a major bearish drop right here at this point in time, 114, and then just rose up to 115. Looking at the 1 hour chart on the US dollar versus the Japanese yen, which is the base currency, which is the US dollar, and obviously the biggest winner right now, we are looking at the gold, of course, the gold, which is quite doing very well. And then going back to the cryptocurrencies at this hour, $38,000, 179.14 per Bitcoin. Let's see what's going to happen next. If this idea that the war situation will result in Russia having to invest in cryptocurrencies, and not only just to invest in, to use cryptocurrencies, because the government is already have the idea of having its own digital currency that is going to be central to its own central bank. So it has been sort of like premeditated, and let's see what's going to happen next. So looking at it now, we are seeing that bullish candlestick. Now I see an engulfing candlestick, a bullish engulfing candlestick. It could be a sign that we're going to be heading for a bullish trend for the day. It's a possibility that by the end of tonight we might see the Bitcoin going to 39 towards $40,000 per coin, but that remains to be seen. Until next time, thank you very much for watching Empire Crypto TV. This has been Markets at